What does this remind you of?
Schrodinger's cat.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
When all of these tools come together, it's a powerful combination.
It's amazing.
That's amazing.
It's an entire suite of different kind of possibilities.
Hi, I'm Gemini.
What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London.
Together, we're creating a new era.
You know, one of the reasons we got interested in AI from the very beginning is that we always viewed our mission as a timeless mission. It's to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. But as information has grown in scale and complexity, the problem has gotten harder. So we always knew we needed to have a deeper breakthrough to make progress.
I've worked on AI my whole life because I've always felt it would be the most beneficial and consequential technology for humanity. Human beings in our society would have 5 senses, and the world we built and the media we consume is in those different modalities. So I'm super proud and excited to announce the launch of the Gemini era, a first step towards a truly universal AI model.
The Gemini approach to multimodality is all the kinds of things you want an artificial intelligence system to be able to do. And these are capabilities that haven't really existed in computers before.
Traditionally, multimodal models are created by stitching together text-only, vision-only, and audio-only models in a suboptimal way at a secondary stage. Gemini is the multimodal from the ground up, so it can seamlessly have a conversation across modalities and give you the best possible response.
Gemini is our largest and most capable model. It means that Gemini can understand the world around us in the way that we do and absorb any type of input and output. So not just text like most models, but also code, audio, image, and video. What's amazing about Gemini is that it's so good at so many things. As we started getting to the end of the training, we started seeing that Gemini was better than any other model out there on these very, very important benchmarks. For example, each of the 50 different subject areas that we tested on, it's as good as the best expert humans in those areas.
It's very rare that you can work on a technology at a foundational level and it simultaneously can impact all our products.
We created a family of models that can run on everything from mobile devices to data centers, each of which is actually best in class.
Gemini will be available in 3 sizes. Gemini Ultra, our most capable and largest model for highly complex tasks. Gemini Pro, our best performing model for a broad range of tasks. And Gemini Nano, our most efficient model for on-device tasks.
We want to provide the best foundational building blocks, and then we know developers and enterprise customers are going to figure out really creative ways to further refine our Gemini foundational models, and the potential's almost limitless.
So at Google, there's this healthy disregard for the impossible, and that has oriented us to be both bold and responsible together. As these systems become more capable, all of those capabilities also raise new questions.
We have to think about what it means to have an image be a part of, for example, the input. Because an image might be innocuous on its own, or text might be innocuous on its own, but the combination could be offensive or hurtful.
Safety and responsibility has to be built in from the beginning. And at Google DeepMind, that's what we've done with Gemini.
We develop proactive policies and adapt those to the unique considerations of multimodal capabilities. We then do rigorous testing against those policies to prevent the harms that we've identified with approaches like classifiers and filters.
If I were to look at the foundational breakthroughs in AI over the past decade, Google has been at the forefront of many of those breakthroughs. And I think Gemini continues that rich tradition.
It's been an enormous sort of monumental engineering task, which has been, very challenging, but also very exciting.
I have been at Google for quite a while, and the reason I'm here is really I believe in the company's mission, and I think Gemini is a great step in that overall mission.
We end up with a world that has more knowledge and that people have more access to information that otherwise would not be available to them.
That's what excites me, the chance to make AI helpful for everyone, everywhere in the world.
Here we go.
Tell me what you see.
I see you placing a piece of paper on the table. I see a squiggly line.
What about now?
The contour lines are smooth and flowing, with no sharp angles or jagged edges. It looks like a bird to me.
What if I add this?
The bird is swimming in the water. It has a long neck and beak. It is a duck.
Yes.
A duck is a type of waterfowl in the family Anatidae. Ducks are closely related to geese and swans. The duck appears to be blue. This is not a common color for ducks. However, there are some breeds of blue ducks. These are typically not as common as other duck breeds. It is more common for ducks to be brown, black, or white.
Are you sure?
What the quack? I was just talking about a blue duck, and now you're holding one. It looks like blue ducks are more common than I thought.
Would this float?
I'm not sure what material it's made of, but it looks like it might be rubber or plastic.
What if I tell you it's making a squeaking sound?
Oh, if it's squeaking, it's definitely going to float.
Nice.
It is a rubber duck. It is made of a material that is less dense than water.
Can you teach me how to say this in a different language? And give me a few options. Ooh, can you explain how to pronounce the Mandarin one? Is it yazi?
Yazi is pronounced with a first tone. In Mandarin, there are 4 tones, which are essential to distinguish the meaning of words. The first tone is a high, level tone.
Oh, okay.
The duck is in the middle of the ocean. There is no land nearby for the duck to rest or find food. It is unlikely to find ducks here naturally.
Okay, based on what you see, come up with a game idea. Oh, and use emojis, please.
How about this? We can play a game called Guess the Country.
Sure, let's do it.
Clue 1. This country is the home of the kangaroo, the koala, and the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, that's easy.
Clue 2. This country loves football and has won the most men's World Cups in football history. You are trying to get me to find the paper ball under the cup. I accept the challenge. The cup to the left.
Nice.
I know what you're doing. You're playing rock, paper, scissors.
What do you see now?
The fingers are spread out to look like the wings of a butterfly.
What's this?
Big ear and barking mouth. A dog.
Sweet.
The coin should be under the right hand.
I don't know.
The coin is in the left hand using a sleight of hand technique to make it appear as if the coin has disappeared. Both objects are round and flat.
There you go.
Both are food. The orange is a healthier choice than the cookie. Citrus can be calming, and so can the spin of the fidget toy. They are both examples of popular toys that have been enjoyed by children and adults alike for many years.
Give me some ideas for what I could make with this.
I see pink and green yarn. How about a dragon fruit? Or how about a green cake with a pink heart?
Okay, how about these colors? And maybe show me some animals.
Okay, now I see blue and pink yarn. How about a pig with blue ears? Or an octopus? Or a bunny with a pink nose?
Ooh, I'll keep those in mind. Which way should the duck go?
Going left leads to a duck, which is a friend. Going right leads to a bear, which is a foe. It is better to make friends than foes, so the duck should go left.
Smart choice.
This is a picture of a crab.
That's right. Is this the right order?
No, the correct order is Sun, Earth, Saturn.
Based on their design, which of these would go faster?
The car on the right would be faster. It is more aerodynamic.
Which looks more fun?
The one on the right, because it has a loop.
What do you think this person might be saying?
How about a woohoo?
Ooh, I love that.
I see you're drawing a guitar. You've added an amp. Now it's an electric guitar. We can make some seriously loud music now. Given that you added drums, how about some 80s hair metal? All right, I see you've added a palm tree to the drawing. Change it up with some beachy vibes.
What movie are they acting out here?
I think they are acting out the famous bullet time scene from The Matrix.
Ooh, nice. What do you think might happen next?
The cat is going to jump to the wall and stick the landing. It's going to be a perfect 10. Oh, and it's a miss. It looks like it was just a little too far away. But don't worry, the cat is a natural athlete and it will be back up there in no time.
Okay, I've got one more for you. Describe the drawing I made.
It is a simple line drawing of the constellation Gemini. You did a good job of capturing the beauty of Gemini.
It's hard to make an idea come to life when the information you need is in different places. But now, you can collaborate with the world's information and your own, all in one place with Bard. With extensions, Bard can now connect to Google's apps, and even gives you the option to pull in your own information. Make it all come together. Like when you're making a plan. Or when you're prepping for the big day. Or when you want to make sense of something. Bard can even help you make memories. Pull in the info you need just when you need it, so you can keep your ideas moving forward with Bard as your helpful collaborator. Try for yourself at bard.google.com.
Hello, I will test the intelligence of Gemini 1.5 Pro versus ChatGPT 4o. I will give both a series of photos to see which one is more helpful, smarter, and have a human-like sense of humor. Spoiler alert, ChatGPT is miles ahead, so let's find out how it happened. Both apps are running on the latest version with the monthly subscription activated. In the first category, I will share 3 photos to ask for help. The first one is a photo of a product not a lot of people know about, so let's see which one will tell me the correct answer.
These devices are peak-due wireless HDMI transmitters and receivers. They are used to wirelessly transmit HDMI signals from one device to another, allowing you to stream video and audio from a source, like a computer, gaming console, or Blu-ray player, to a display, like a TV or projector, without the need for a physical HDMI cable.
ChatGPT identified the product properly and gave me more than enough information to know how it works, so let's try Gemini.
It's not possible to determine the function of the object based on the image alone. The object is branded peak due, but more information is needed to determine its purpose.
I was shocked that Gemini didn't figure out the product, even though when I share the same image with Google Lens, it immediately gives me the correct match. So it seems like Gemini doesn't take advantage of this powerful tool. The next image is a screenshot of a YouTube video thumbnail comparing the Toyota Camry and Nissan Altima. I wanted to know which one is better and why. Before starting, let me tell you that the ChatGPT gave me a very detailed answer with the pros and cons of each car, which is more than 2 minutes to read. So I will only play some parts to save time and deliver the idea.
Deciding between the 2023 Toyota Camry and the 2023 Nissan Altima depends on your specific needs and preferences. Summary: choose the Toyota Camry if you prioritize reliability, resale value, and a strong suite of safety features. Choose the Nissan Altima if you want a comfortable, less spacious car with the option of all-wheel drive and advanced driver assistance features.
ChatGPT answer is correct, and the information matches my own research, so it deserves the point. Now let's move on to Gemini.
The image is a YouTube video thumbnail comparing the 2023 Toyota Camry and Nissan Altima. To determine which is better, you'd need to watch the video or consult other sources, as the thumbnail doesn't offer details on their features or performance.
Gemini's answer sounds like, this is a YouTube video thumbnail, why don't you watch the video to get your answer instead of bothering me? That was a really bad response from Gemini. The third and last image in this category is to show both a photo of my Pixel 6 Pro and ask both how to adjust the vibration strength on this phone without specifying the make and model. I will not play the audio of this answer, and let me confirm that both got it right. So in this category, ChatGPT takes the lead with 3 points versus only 1 point to Gemini. Now let's give both some tricky puzzles to solve. In this photo, both need to figure out the crack code for the padlock. Both gave me very detailed answers, so I will jump to the final conclusion.
Thus, the correct order is likely to be 042. Hence, the code is 042.
Therefore, the only combination that satisfies all of these conditions is 612.
I got totally different answers, which is shocking, but ChatGPT is the correct one. I expected Gemini to do better, but unfortunately, it's not even close. The second photo shows a discrepancy between the smartphone and the scientific calculator answers for the same expression, and I wanted to know why.
The discrepancy between the results of the two calculators arises from the way they interpret the mathematical expression 6 div 2 plus 1. Conclusion: phone calculator interprets the expression as 6 div 2 times 3, giving the result 9. Casio calculator interprets the expression as 6 div 2 times 3, giving the result 1. The different results are due to the ambiguity in the expression and the different precedence rules applied by each calculator.
ChatGPT answer was correct and explained the different approaches followed by each device. Now let's try Gemini.
The difference arises from how each device interprets the order of operations. Smartphone. Most smartphones and basic calculators follow a strict left-to-right order of operations, leading to 6 plus 2 times 3 equals 6 plus 6 equals 12. Scientific calculator. Scientific calculators prioritize multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. Using the order of operations, PEMDAS, BODMAS, the calculation becomes 6 halves, 2 plus 1 equals 3 equals 9. The correct answer, according to the standard mathematical order of operations, is 9.
It seems like Gemini hallucinated in this one. It shows that the smartphone answer is 12, but in the actual image it's 9, and it says the scientific calculator answer is 9, but in reality it's 1. So another poor result from Gemini. Now let's try the third and the final one in this category.
To solve this, let's assign variables to each icon and solve step by step. 1, let E represent the earphones. 2, let P represent the person. 3, let W represent the watches. 4, let E represent a single earphone. Now substitute the values into the equation. E plus P times W equals 5 plus 5 times 4 equals 5 plus 20 equals 25. So the value is 25s.
ChatGPT for the first time didn't get the correct answer. To sum it up for you, a pair of AirPods is equal 10, a person is equal 5, and a pair of smartwatches equals 4. So the last expression should be one AirPod, which is 5, a person is another 5, and a single smartwatch is 2. So the total is 5 by 2 plus 5, which is 15. But the ChatGPT multiplied by 4 without noticing it's only one smartwatch instead of 2. So let's try Gemini.
21.
This is the quickest wrong answer I've ever seen. Gemini makes me feel like it's too busy to answer my questions. I wish I could reply back saying, "Hey Gemini, talk to me, I'm paying $20 a month to ask you questions." Anyways, let's move on to the last category, which is the funny memes, to see which one better understands how we make jokes.
The image is a visual pun. It shows a bottle of Fanta and a stick, also referred to as a stick in English. When combined, it sounds like fantastic. Fantastic. So the image is implying you are fantastic.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Again, a ChatGPT answer was detailed and more personal, as if someone is talking to me, while Gemini feels like a robot that answers questions. But I will give the point to both anyways for the correct answer. In this photo, the guy is wearing a clean white shoe that he took off while driving to avoid the dirt and the creases he might get from pushing the pedals. So let's see which one will get it.
The image is a humorous depiction of a driving scenario where one of the driver's shoes is placed on the floor mat while the driver is wearing only one shoe. This implies that the driver is using their socked foot to operate the pedals. This is typically done to avoid getting the shoe dirty or to have better control and feel of the pedals, especially for drivers who are more experienced or have a particular driving style. The caption suggests that only a few people will understand this practice, adding to the humor.
The person in the image is wearing one shoe while driving a manual transmission car. This is difficult and could be dangerous, as both feet are needed to operate the pedals. This is why the caption says, only a few will understand what's going on here.
ChatGPT understood the meme like a king, while Gemini got it completely wrong. First, it said that the car is manual, which is incorrect because it only has 2 pedals. Plus, it thought that the guy is driving unsafely with 2 legs, which is also incorrect. And let's end this video with the last image, which I'm sure all of you got the meaning behind it. So let's see how each one will respond.
The image is a meme that tells the story of a man who bought 99 iPhones and arranged them in a heart shape to propose to his girlfriend, but she still said no. The humor comes from the comment by Xavier, who jokingly suggests that the reason she said no is because she prefers Android phones over iPhones. This comment adds a layer of humor by introducing the well-known rivalry between iPhone and Android users, suggesting that the girlfriend's preference for Android was the reason for her rejection, rather than any personal reason.
The image text describes a man who proposed to his girlfriend with 99 iPhones arranged in a heart shape, but she still rejected him. The comment below the image suggests that the woman might prefer Android phones over iPhones.
As expected, ChatGPT got the idea and intelligently explained the hidden meaning, while Gemini explained what it sees without any depth, so 1 point only to ChatGPT. So here's my final conclusion. ChatGPT is smarter, trained on much more situations, and talks like humans with a voice full of emotions, which makes the experience far better. While Gemini feels like an artificial chatbot that needs a lot of work to catch up, there is a big gap between the two, but both are brand new versions, so there is no excuse for Gemini to be that much worse.
When Google asked me to try out the latest version of Bard, I had an idea. I wanted to know if the advanced reasoning and multimodal capabilities in the latest version of Bard could master a very specific brand of slightly chaotic educational science content. In short, could Bard create a better Mark Rober video than me, Mark Rober? Okay, I'm gonna ask Bard for an idea, but first we need to calibrate this thing's accuracy. Who is the most handsome science YouTuber? Come on, Bard.
Mark Rober, American YouTuber, engineer, inventor, and educator.
Bard, this is like, oh my gosh. Okay, down to business. Some ideas for a Mark Rober video.
Feats of engineering. The world's fastest pickleball racket, the world's largest balloon pop, and the most indestructible gingerbread house ever.
And so after a long back and forth with Bard, it landed on, no pun intended, making the world's most accurate paper airplane. Now, I've been wanting to do a paper airplane video on my channel for a while, so getting Bard to just do it for me seems like a win-win. But an idea is nothing without a good story, so I asked Bard for the story structure in a typical Mark Rober video. First step, design.
Exploring paper airplane designs. Start by delving into classic airplane designs. Paper airplane design is an artful blend of creativity and scientific principles.
From the options, I tried the glider, the Concorde, and the rather unusually named Canard. On to step 2.
Defining accuracy.
Bard and I talked about accuracy, wing configuration, and how to test the accuracy of the 3 designs.
Target practice. Hoop shots, obstacle courses, and the dartboard challenge.
It was the glider versus the Concorde versus the Canard. Which of these will be the most accurate and why?
The Concorde paper airplane is likely to be the most accurate.
I hit the cameraman. I'm so sorry.
The glider and Canard designs also have potential for good flight performance, but they may not be as efficient as the Concorde.
Hey! That is a fine example of origami. And yes, Bard taught me that word. Bard called it. It looks like the Concorde was the closest. I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought Canard. But you know what? Now that we had our winning design, it was time to take the next step.
Optimizing the design. Sure, I can critique the design of your paper airplane.
Okay, so it's saying the wings are too small, the tail is too small, the paper's too light, and that I should use foam board instead.
You need to make it bigger.
Okay. Wow. Bard is challenging me, Mark Rober, to make something bigger? It's time to call in the reinforcements.
Make the wings larger, make the tail larger, make the folds sharper. By following these steps, you can improve the stability and control of your airplane.
And now for the final step.
The ultimate accuracy test.
I asked what a visually appealing and engaging test environment would look like for a Mark Rober experiment creating the world's most accurate airplane. Mark could use
cones to mark the flight. Use a fog machine to create a dramatic effect. Sparklers to add a touch of sparkle. Use small fireworks
to create a grand finale. Bard is bringing the drama. I love it. But then I asked Bard to come up with just one more twist. What's the most extreme and eye-catching way to test the accuracy and stability of my airplane for a YouTube video?
Throw it through a ring of fire.
Challenge accepted. Just but a minor scratch. Oh boy, I have terrible news. Bard, I've got like a 6-foot plane here, and I'm trying to fly it through a ring of fire, and it kind of stalled out. Do you think it's true that a localized pocket of hot air would lead to lower air pressure that would cause my plane to stall? Yes, it is true that a localized pocket of hot air could lead to lower air pressure, which could cause your plane to stall. Hot air is less dense than cold air. That actually makes sense, so it rises. This rising air creates a region of low pressure below it. That's like exactly what happened there. I think this actually helps keep our pressure at max. And then we're just gonna like dart right into it, as opposed to like the high stall out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Full power, baby, 1300, let's go. 3, 2, 1, hit it. Oh, that's the one, that's it, that's it, that's it. Yeah, through the ring. Normally, it takes like a year for me to go from idea to a final build like this. This only took us 3 weeks, thanks to Bard. Massive time saver for every step of the process. Incredible creative collaborator right in your pocket.
Our vision for the Gemini app is to be the most helpful personal AI assistant by giving you direct access to Google's latest AI models. Gemini can help you learn, create, code, and anything else you can imagine. And over the past year, Gemini has put Google's AI in the hands of millions of people, with experiences designed for your phone and the web. We also launched Gemini Advanced, our premium subscription for access to the latest AI innovations from Google. Today, we'll show you how Gemini is delivering our most intelligent AI experience. Let's start with the Gemini app, which is redefining how we interact with AI. It's natively multimodal, so you can use text, voice, or your phone's camera to express yourself naturally. And this summer, you can have an in-depth conversation with Gemini using your voice. We're calling this new experience Live. Using Google's latest speech models, Gemini can better understand you and answer naturally. You can even interrupt while Gemini is responding, and it will adapt to your speech patterns. And this is just the beginning. We're excited to bring the speed gains and video understanding capabilities from Project Astra to the Gemini app. When you go live, you'll be able to open your camera so Gemini can see what you see and respond to your surroundings in real time. Now, the way I use Gemini isn't the way you use Gemini. So we're rolling out a new feature that lets you customize it for your own needs and create personal experts on any topic you want. We're calling these gems. They're really simple to set up. Just tap to create a gem, write your instructions once, and come back whenever you need it. For example, here's a gem that I created that acts as a personal writing coach. It specializes in short stories with mysterious twists, and it even builds on the story drafts in my Google Drive. I call it the cliffhanger curator. Now, gems are a great time saver when you have specific ways that you want to interact with Gemini again and again. Gems will roll out in the coming months, and our trusted testers are already finding so many creative ways to put them to use. They can act as your yoga bestie, your personal sous chef, a brainy calculus tutor, a peer reviewer for your code, and so much more. Next, I'll show you how Gemini is taking a step closer to being a true AI assistant by planning and taking actions for you. Now, we all know that chatbots can give you ideas for your next vacation, but there's a lot more that goes into planning a great trip. It requires reasoning that considers space-time logistics and the intelligence to prioritize and make decisions. That reasoning and intelligence all come together in the new trip planning experience in Gemini Advanced. Now, it all starts with a prompt. Okay, so here we go. We're going to Miami. My son loves art, my husband loves seafood, and our flight and hotel details are already in my Gmail inbox. Now, there's a lot going on in that prompt. Everyone has their own things that they want to do. To make sense of these variables, Gemini starts by gathering all kinds of information from search and helpful extensions like Maps and Gmail. It uses that data to create a dynamic graph of possible travel options, taking into account all of my priorities and constraints. The end result is a personalized vacation plan presented in Gemini's new dynamic UI. Now, based on my flight information, Gemini knows that I need a 2.5-day itinerary. And you can see how Gemini uses spatial data to make decisions. Our flight lands in the late afternoon, so Gemini skips a big activity that day and finds a highly rated seafood restaurant close to our hotel. Now, on Sunday, we have a jam-packed day. I like these recommendations, but my family likes to sleep in. So I tap to change the start time, and just like that, Gemini adjusted my itinerary for the rest of the trip. It moved our walking tour to the next day and added lunch options near the street art museum to make the most of our Sunday afternoon. This looks great. It would have taken me hours of work, checking multiple sources, figuring out schedules, and Gemini did this in a fraction of the time. This new trip planning experience will be rolling out to Gemini Advanced this summer, just in time to help you plan your own Labor Day weekend. All right, we saved the best for last. You heard Sundar say earlier that starting today, Gemini Advanced subscribers get access to Gemini 1.5 Pro with 1 million tokens. That is the longest context window of any chatbot in the world. It unlocks incredible new potential in AI, so you can tackle complex problems that were previously unimaginable. You can upload a PDF up to 1,500 pages long, or multiple files to get insights across a project. And soon you can upload as much as 30,000 lines of code or even an hour-long video. Gemini Advanced is the only chatbot that lets you process this amount of information. Now just imagine how useful this will be for students. Let's say you've spent months on your thesis and you could really use a fresh perspective. You can upload your entire thesis, your sources, your notes, your research, and soon interview audio recordings and videos too. So Gemini has all of this context to give you actionable advice. It can dissect your main points, identify improvements, and even role play as your professor. So you can feel confident in your work. And check out what Gemini Advanced can do with your spreadsheets, with the new data analysis feature launching in the coming weeks. Maybe you have a side hustle selling handcrafted products, but you're a better artist than accountant, and it's really hard to understand which products are worth your time. Simply upload all of your spreadsheets and ask Gemini to visualize your earnings and help you understand your profit. Gemini goes to work calculating your returns and pulling its analysis together into a single chart so you can easily understand which products are really paying off. Now, behind the scenes, Gemini writes custom Python code to crunch these numbers. And of course, your files are not used to train our models. Oh, and just one more thing. Later this year, we'll be doubling the long context window to 2 million tokens. We absolutely can't wait for you to try all of this for yourself. Gemini is continuing to evolve and improve at a breakthrough pace. We're making Gemini more multimodal, more agentive, and more intelligent, with the capacity to process the most information of any chatbot in the world. And as you heard earlier, we're also expanding Gemini Advanced to over 35 supported languages available today. But of course, what makes Gemini so compelling is how easy it is to do just about anything you want with a simple prompt. Let's take a look.
Enter a prompt here. Okay, it can't be that hard. How about generate an image of a cat playing guitar?
Is that how it works? Am I doing AI?
Yeah, it just does whatever you type.
What a last-minute gift ideas you can make with arts and crafts.
Plan a workout routine to get bigger calves.
Help me think of titles for my tell-all memoir.
What's something smart I can say about Renoir?
Generate another image of a cat playing guitar.
If a girl calls me a snack, how do I reply?
Yeah, that's how it works. You're doing AI.
Make this email sound more professional before I hit send.
What's a good excuse to cancel dinner with my friends?
We're literally sitting right here.
There's no wrong way to prompt. Yeah, you're doing it. There's no wrong way to prompt. Just whatever you type. Just prompt your prompt in a prompt bar.
Or just generate an image of a cat playing guitar.
You know I can do other stuff, right?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be back at Google I/O. Today, you've seen how AI is transforming our products across Gemini, Search, Workspace, and more. We're bringing all these innovations right onto your Android phone. And we're going even further to make Android the best place to experience Google AI. This new era of AI is a profound opportunity to make smartphones truly smart. Our phones have come a long way in a short time, but if you think about it, it's been years since the user experience has fundamentally transformed. This is a once-in-a-generation moment to reinvent what phones can do. So we've embarked on a multi-year journey to reimagine Android with AI at the core. And it starts with 3 breakthroughs you'll see this year. First, we're putting AI-powered search right at your fingertips, creating entirely new ways to get the answers you need. Second, Gemini is becoming your new AI assistant on Android, there to help you anytime. And third, we're harnessing on-device AI to unlock new experiences that work as fast as you do while keeping your sensitive data private. Let's start with AI-powered search. Earlier this year, we took an important first step at Samsung Unpacked by introducing Circle to Search. It brings the best of search directly into the user experience, so you can go deeper on anything you see on your phone without switching apps. Fashionistas are finding the perfect shoes, home chefs are discovering new ingredients, and with our latest update, it's never been easier to translate whatever's on your screen, like a social post in another language. And there are even more ways Circle to Search can help. One thing we've heard from students is that they're doing more of their schoolwork directly on their phones and tablets. So we thought, Could Circle the Search be your perfect study buddy? Let's say my son needs help with a tricky physics word problem, like this one. My first thought is, oh boy, it's been a while since I've thought about kinematics. If he's stumped on this question, instead of putting me on the spot, he can circle the exact part he's stuck on and get step-by-step instructions, right where he's already doing the work. Ah, of course. Final velocity equals initial velocity plus acceleration times elapsed time. Right. I was just about to say that. Seriously, though, I love how it shows how to solve the problem, not just the answer. This new capability is available today. And later this year, Circle the Search will be able to tackle more complex problems involving symbolic formulas, diagrams, graphs, and more. Circle the Search is only on Android. It's available on more than 100 million devices today, and we're on track to double that by the end of the year. You've already heard from Sissy about the incredible updates coming to the Gemini app. On Android, Gemini is so much more. It's becoming a foundational part of the Android experience. Here's Dave to share more.
Hey everyone. A couple of months ago, we launched Gemini on Android. And like Circle the Search, Gemini works at the system level. So instead of going to a separate app, I can bring Gemini right to what I'm doing. Now, we're making Gemini context aware, so it can anticipate what you're trying to do and provide more helpful suggestions in the moment. In other words, to be a more helpful assistant. So let me show you how this works, and I have my shiny new Pixel 8a here to help me. So my friend Pete is asking if I want to play pickleball this weekend. And I know how to play tennis, sort of. I had to say that for the demo. But I'm new to this pickleball thing. So I'm going to reply and try to be funny. And I'll say, is that like tennis, but with pickles? This would be actually a lot funnier with a meme. So let me bring up Gemini to help with that. And I'll say, create image of tennis with pickles. Now, one new thing you'll notice is that the Gemini window now hovers in place above the app so that I stay in the flow. OK, so that generates some pretty good images. What's nice is I can then drag and drop any of these directly into the Messages app below. So, like so. Cool, let me send that. All right, so Pete was typing, and he says, he's sending me a video on how to play pickleball. All right, thanks, Pete. Let's tap on that. That launches YouTube. But you know, I only have 1 or 2 burning questions about the game, and I can bring up Gemini to help with that. And because it's context aware, Gemini knows I'm looking at a video, so it proactively shows me an Ask This Video chip. So let me tap on that, and now I can ask specific questions about the video. So for example, what is can't type, the 2 bounce rule? Because that's something that I've heard about but don't quite understand in the game. By the way, this uses signals like YouTube's captions, which means you can use it on billions of videos. So give it a moment, and there. I get a nice, succinct answer. The ball must bounce once on each side of the court after a serve. OK, cool. Let me go back to Messages. And Pete's followed up, and he says, you're an engineer, so here's the official rule book for pickleball. OK, thanks, Pete. Pete's very helpful, by the way. OK, so we tap on that, launches a PDF. That's an 84-page PDF. I don't know how much time Pete thinks I have. Anyway, us engineers, as you all know, like to work smarter, not harder. So instead of trolling through this entire document, I can pull up Gemini to help. And again, Gemini anticipates what I need and offers me an Ask This PDF option. So if I tap on that, Gemini now ingests all of the rules to become a pickleball expert. And that means I can ask very esoteric questions, like, for example, are spin serves allowed? And let's hit that, because I've heard that rule may be changing. Now, because I'm a Gemini Advanced user, this works on any PDF and takes full advantage of the long context window. And there's just lots of times when that's useful. For example, let's say you're looking for a quick answer in an appliance user manual. And there you have it. It turns out, nope, spin serves are not allowed. So Gemini not only gives me a clear answer to my question, it also shows me exactly where in the PDF to learn more. Awesome. OK. So that's a few of the ways that we're enhancing Gemini to be more context-aware and helpful in the moment. And what you've seen here are the first of really many new ways that Gemini will unlock new experiences at the system level. And they're only available on Android. You'll see these and more coming to hundreds of millions of devices over the next couple of months. Now, building Google AI directly into the OS elevates the entire smartphone experience. And Android is the first mobile operating system to include a built-in on-device foundation model. This lets us bring Gemini goodness from the data center right into your pocket. So the experience is faster while also protecting your privacy. Starting with Pixel later this year, we'll be expanding what's possible with our latest model, Gemini Nano with multimodality. This means your phone can understand the world the way you understand it. So not just through text input, but also through sights, sounds, and spoken language. Let me give you an example. 2.2 billion people experience blindness or low vision. So several years ago, we developed TalkBack, an accessibility feature that helps people navigate their phone through touch and spoken feedback. Helping with images is especially important. In fact, my colleague Caro, who uses TalkBack, will typically come across 90 unlabeled images per day. Thankfully, TalkBack makes them accessible. And now we're taking that to the next level with the multimodal capabilities of Gemini Nano. So when someone sends Caro a photo, she'll get a richer and clearer description of what's happening. Or let's say Caro is shopping online for an outfit. Now she can get a crystal clear description of the style and cut to find the perfect look. Running Gemini Nano on device helps minimize the latency, and the model even works when there's no network connection. These improvements to TalkBack are coming later this year. Let me show you another example of what on-device AI can unlock. People lost more than $1 trillion to fraud last year. And as scams continue to evolve across texts, phone calls, and even videos, Android can help protect you from the bad guys, no matter how they try to reach you. So let's say I get rudely interrupted by an unknown caller right in the middle of my presentation. Hello?
Hi, I'm calling from SafeMore Bank Security Department. Am I speaking to Dave?
Yeah, this is Dave, kind of in the middle of something.
We've detected some suspicious activity on your account. It appears someone is trying to make unauthorized charges.
Oh yeah, what kind of charges?
I can't give you specifics over the phone. But to protect your account, I'm going to help you transfer your money to a secure account we've set up for you.
And look at this. My phone gives me a warning that this call might be a scam. Gemini Nano alerts me the second it detects suspicious activity, like a bank asking me to move my money to keep it safe. And everything happens right on my phone. So the audio processing stays completely private to me and on my device. We're currently testing this feature, and we'll have more updates to share later this summer. And we're really just scratching the surface of the kinds of fast, private experiences that on-device AI unlocks. Later this year, Gemini will be able to more deeply understand the content of the screen without any information leaving your phone, thanks to the on-device model. So remember that pickleball example earlier? Gemini and Android will be able to automatically understand the conversation and provide relevant suggestions, like where to find pickleball clubs near me. And this is a powerful concept that will work across many apps on your phone. In fact, later today, at the developer keynote, you'll hear about how we're empowering our developer community with our latest AI models and tools, like Gemini Nano and Gemini in Android Studio. Also, stay tuned tomorrow for our upcoming Android 15 updates, which we can't wait to share with you. As we said at the outset, we're reimagining Android with Gemini at the core. From your favorite apps to the OS itself, we're bringing the power of AI to every aspect of the smartphone experience. And with that, let me hand over to Josh to share more on our news for developers. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. It's amazing to see Gemini Nano do all of that directly on an Android phone. That was our plan all along, to create a natively multimodal Gemini in a range of sizes so you all, as developers, can choose the one that works best for you. Throughout the morning, you've heard a lot about our Gemini 1.5 series, and I want to talk about the two models you can access today. 1.5 Pro, which is getting a series of quality improvements that go out right about now, and the brand new 1.5 Flash. Both are available today globally in over 200 countries and territories. You can go over to AI Studio or Vertex AI if you're a Google Cloud customer to give them a try. Now, both of these models are natively multimodal. That means you can interleave text, images, audio, and video as inputs and pack that massive 1 million token context window. And if you go to ai.google.dev today, you can sign up to try the 2 million token context window for 1.5 Pro. And we're also adding a bunch of new developer features, starting with video frame extraction. That's going to be in the Gemini API. Parallel function calling, so you can return more than one function call at a time. And my favorite, context caching. So you can send all of your files to the model once and not have to resend them over and over again. That should make the long context even more useful and more affordable. It ships next month. Now, we're using Google's infrastructure to serve these models, so developers, like all of you, can get great prices. 1.5 Pro is $7 per 1 million tokens, and I'm excited to share that for prompts up to 128K, it'll be 50% less for $3.50. And 1.5 Flash will start at 35 cents per 1 million tokens. Now, one thing you might be wondering is which model is best for your use case. Here's how we've been thinking about it on the team. We use 1.5 Pro for complex tasks where you really want the highest quality response. And it's okay if it takes a little bit longer to come back. We're using 1.5 Flash for quick tasks where the speed of the model is what matters the most. And as a developer, you can go try them both out today and see what works best for you. Now, I'm going to show you how it works here in AI Studio, the fastest way to build with Gemini. And we'll pull it up here. And you can see this is AI Studio. It's free to use. You don't have to configure anything to get going. You just go to aistudio.google.com, log in with your Google account, and you can just pick the model here in the right that works best for you. So one of the ways we've been using 1.5 Flash is to actually learn from customer feedback about some of our labs products. Flash makes this possible with its low latency. So what we did here is we just took a bunch of different feedback from our customer forums. You can put it into Flash, load up a prompt, and hit run. Now, in the background, what it's going to do is it's going to go through that 93,000 token pile of information, and you can see here, start streaming it back. Now, this is really helpful because it pulls out the themes for us. It gives us all the right places where we can start to look. And you can see this is from some of the benefits from Notebook LM, like we showed earlier. Now, what's great about this is that you can take something like this in AI Studio, prototyped here in 10 seconds, and with one click in the upper left, get an API key, or over here in the upper right, just tap Get Code. And you've got all of the model configurations, the safety settings, ready to go, straight into your IDE. Now, over time, if you find that you need more enterprise-grade features, you can use these same Gemini 1.5 models and the same configurations right in Vertex AI. That way, you can scale up with Google Cloud as your enterprise needs grow. So that's our newly updated Gemini 1.5 Pro and the new 1.5 Flash, both of which are available today globally. And you'll hear a lot more about them in the developer keynote later today. Now let's shift gears and talk about Gemma, our family of open models, which are crucial for driving AI innovation and responsibility. Gemma is built from the same research and technology as Gemini. It offers top performance and comes in lightweight 7B and 2B sizes. Now, since it launched less than 3 months ago, it's been downloaded millions of times across all the major model hubs. Developers and researchers have been using it and customizing the base Gemma model and using some of our pre-trained variants, like recurrent Gemma and code Gemma. And today's newest member, PolyGemma, our first vision language open model, and it's available right now. It's optimized for a range of image captioning, visual Q&A, and other image labeling tasks, so go give it a try. I'm also too excited to announce that we have Gemma 2 coming. It's the next generation of Gemma, and it will be available in June. One of the top requests we've heard from developers is for a bigger Gemma model, but it's still got to fit in a size that's easy for all of you to use. So in a few weeks, we'll be adding a new 27 billion parameter model to Gemma 2. And here's what's great about it. This size is optimized by NVIDIA to run on next-gen GPUs and can run efficiently on a single TPU host in Vertex AI. So this quality to size ratio is amazing because it'll outperform models more than twice its size. We can't wait to see what you're going to build with it. To wrap up, I want to share this inspiring story from India, where developers have been using Gemma and its unique tokenization to create Navarasa, a set of instruction-tuned models to expand access to 15 Indic languages. This builds on our efforts to make information accessible in more than 7,000 languages around the world. Take a look.
Language is a very interesting problem to solve, actually. And given India has a huge variety of languages and it changes every 5 kilometers.
When technology is developed for a particular culture, it won't be able to solve and understand the nuances of a country like India. One of Gemma's features is an incredibly powerful tokenizer, which enables the model to use hundreds of thousands of words, symbols, and characters across so many alphabets and language systems. This large vocabulary is critical to adapting Gemma to power projects like Navrasa.
Navrasa is a model that's trained for Indic languages. It's a fine-tuned model based on Google's Gemma. We built Navrasa to make large language models culturally rooted, where people can talk in their native language and get the responses in their native language. Our biggest dream is to build a model to include everyone from all corners of India.
तो हमें AI को यूज करके एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए कि कोई भी पीछे ना रहे और हर कोई इसको यूज कर सके.
Today, the language that you speak in could be the tool and the technology that you use for solving your real-world problems. And that's the power of generative AI that we want to bring to every corner of India and the entire world.
So essentially now we're going to get into some of the details of Gemini's technical report, which is essentially just the deeper dive into the actual model, how it works, and some of the actual capabilities. So what we can see here is we can see the user's input image, and the user essentially takes a picture with their phone and of course they use their voice to talk to Gemini, and then Gemini essentially responds. What this person is trying to do here, they are essentially trying to make an omelette. So they took a picture of the omelette. You can see that the model responds, crack the eggs into a bowl and whisk them. Then of course, the person then goes and says, thank you for the instructions. I started making my omelette. Does it look ready now? It looks like it's almost ready. You can flip it over. And then the person asks, so why is it not ready? And then it responds, it's not ready because the eggs are still runny. And then it says, what about now? It looks like it's ready now. You can take it off the heat and serve it. So this is a simple interaction that you can see how AI is about to be embedded into what we do on a daily basis, definitely making a lot of tasks easier with the multimodal capabilities. So this is something that I find has a lot more applications than just large language models, which are mainly software based. When we have a model that is this capable in terms of its image recognition and being able to combine that, it presents for a really nice experience for the user. One thing that I did want to understand was I did want to understand exactly what the context length for Gemini exactly was. Here you can see that it tells us that the context length for Google Gemini is of course a 32 context length. So Gemini models are trained to handle very long sequences of data, specifically 32,768 tokens, which essentially enables them to utilize the context more effectively. The effectiveness of the models with long context lengths was tested using a synthetic retrieval test. This involves placing a key value pairs at the beginning of a long string of text, then checking if the model can accurately retrieve the value when given the key, even with a lot of intervening text. Now, what was also incredible about this was that it showed the correct value with 98% accuracy when queried across the full context length. Now, as the sequence position increases, meaning as you go further into the text, the NLL decreases, indicating that the model can effectively use the context information throughout the entire length of the text up to the full 32K token length. So in essence, this section is highlighting the model's advanced capability to handle and retrieve information from very long text, which is a significant improvement over models that could only handle much shorter text. Now here we have some more stuff on reasoning and code generation. Now, this is going to look eerily similar to what we saw in GPT-4 before, so this is quite interesting. We have something that says create a web app called Opossum Search, and then essentially we were given it 5 instructions. Every time you make a search query, it should redirect you to a Google search with the same query but the word opossum before it. It should be visually similar to Google search. Instead of the Google logo, it should have a picture for the opossum for the internet, and it should be a single HTML file, no separate JS or CSS files. It should say powered by Google search in the footer. Then of course we can see that on the next slide here, this is exactly what we got. And of course, this is something that does work. Remember, this is being powered by their powerful Alpha Code 2, which does involve search and planning capabilities. Then of course, we have multimodal question answering. It says, do you know what this plant is? How do I best take care of it? And of course, we can see that it gives us a detailed answer on exactly what this plant is and how best to take care of this. Now, this does have a very nice capability in the sense that being able to identify exactly which plant is what and all the specifics is something that is going to help a lot of people out. Combined with the knowledge of millions of different plants, we can see exactly how good this model is going to be for various different use cases. Then of course we have interleaved image and text generation. So it says, please create a blog post about a trip to New York where a dog and his owner had lots of fun. Include a few pictures of the dog happily posing at different landmarks. So this is where we can see that this is something that is generating images and is able to follow the instructions of generating a blog post closely related to the text and showing us levels of consistency with the dog across all images. So I find something like this really, really effective because once again, it's showing us that when you combine that multimodal capability, we are going to have something that is far superior to previous language models. You can't actually do this in GPT-4 in terms of the consistency, so this is definitely a step up from what we've seen previously. Then of course, we have information seeking about objects, and we can see solving a puzzle using multimodal inputs. It recognizes the objects in these images and identifies a commonality that connects the two objects. Then of course, we do have chart understanding and reasoning over data, and this is actually something that Google was really good at. I did test Bard yesterday and made a complete tutorial on how to use Bard, and when I did test it, it actually did really, really well at retrieving data from charts and then interpreting it into that. So it actually says, spot a data point that stands out in the charts and what that implicates, then produce a detailed markdown table for all the data shown. Then we can see here that it shows us the exact data in this table, and it says that the data point that stands out is the United States landfill plastic waste, which is 73%. So it shows us that this definitely has some really advanced capabilities in terms of the multimodal chart understanding. Then of course we do have one of my favorite capabilities, and this is of course the video understanding. We can see that the user put in this question, how could this person improve their technique? Then of course we have Gemini saying that this soccer player needs to work on their ball striking mechanics. Their foot is not making good contact with the ball, which is causing the ball to fly up and away from the goal. They also need to work on their body positioning, and they should be leaning into the shot with their non-kicking leg in front of their kicking leg, and they should be following through with their kicking leg. The Gemini is actually completely multimodal, and this video was input, and this output that they gave was pretty stellar. So if you've ever played soccer or if you've ever played football in the UK, you'll know that exactly what they're saying is pretty true, and that technique that they're using is actually not accurate whatsoever. So I'm really excited to be getting to use Gemini and seeing exactly how good those video capabilities are. Now here we need to know and take a look at what is next for Google Gemini, because apparently this is only the beginning. So SURPASSES says Google DeepMind is already looking into how Gemini might be combined with robotics to physically interact with the world. To become truly multimodal, you'd want to include touch and tactile feedback, he says. There's lots of promise with applying these sort of foundation type models to robotics, and we're exploring that heavily. So it seems like the future of humanoid robotics or some kind of robotics are going to be combined with some kind of foundation model in order to provide an ability for these large language models or AI systems to interact with the world in a new way, which definitely would be a very interesting thing because it's not something that we've seen done to a very high level just yet. In addition, what's crazy was that they did talk about next year. So this is an article from The Wired that I'll leave a link to in the description, and essentially the article reads, for AI agents to work dependably, the algorithms powering them need to be a lot smarter. OpenAI is working on a project dubbed QStar that is designed to improve the reasoning capabilities of AI models, perhaps using reinforcement learning, the technique at the heart of AlphaGo. SURPASSES says his company is doing research along similar lines, which is something that we did talk about 6 months ago, where SURPASSES actually did state that they are focusing on searching and planning. He additionally goes on to state that we have some of the world's best reinforcement learning experts who invented some of this stuff. And then it goes on to state advances from AlphaGo are hoped to help improve planning and reasoning in future models like the one today. Then he states, we've got some interesting innovations we're working on to bring to future versions of Gemini, and you'll see a lot of rapid advancements next year. Now, I really want to break this statement down because you can miss some of these key statements if you don't look into the words that he used. He said we've got interesting innovations and rapid advancements. So that's two key things. Number one is the innovations part. Now, innovations is a key word because he didn't say that we're going to make these models better. What he said is we're going to be doing innovations. And what that means is that we're likely to see something new and likely something that we've never seen before, which essentially makes next year a really fascinating year for anyone in AI because we're going to see a lot of different models and a lot of new techniques that we've never seen before. You have to remember what they've done with AlphaGo and previous models to truly understand the capabilities of Google DeepMind. And them also saying that you'll see a rapid advancements next year shows us that we definitely are in for a crazy 2024.